Dear friends, colleagues, chess fans, chess lovers, I am pleased to welcome you to this virtual event hosted by the Permanent Mission of Armenia to the United Nations on the occasion of World Chess Day we are commemorating today. Since 1966, this day has been celebrated across the world to mark the date of establishment of International Chess Federation. In December 2019, the day was officially designated by the world's most representative organ, the UN General Assembly. The UNGA Resolution 7422, which was adopted upon Armenia's initiative with co-sponsorship of 53 member states, proclaims the 20th July as the World Chess Day, while reflecting also on the transformative power of chess in fostering peace, development, and human rights. Following the adoption of the UNGA resolution, we were planning to hold an event on the inaugural observance of World Chess Day at the UN headquarters, with wide participation of well-known grand chess masters, representatives of civil society community, young people, and other stakeholders. But for known unfortunate reasons caused by COVID-19 pandemic, we are hosting this meeting in a virtual format, which on the other hand allows us to have a bigger turnout and have chess fans around the world to benefit from opportunities provided by the digital technologies and become part of our event today. We are honored to host this extraordinary panel that brings together legendary chess players from different parts of the world. Not being a chess player myself, I've been always fascinated by this exceptional master game. It is with great interest that I have followed the international developments in chess with endless admiration and profound respect for the distinguished chess players who are joining our conversation today and their most inspiring legacies. We are going to hear from celebrated chess champions. Among our distinguished panelists are Mr. Vishwanathan Anand joining us from India, Ms. Hu Yifan from China, Mr. Vladimir Kramnik from Russia, and Mr. Levon Aronia from Armenia. We were also expecting to welcome Mr. Magnus Carlsen, the current world chess champion, but we understand that due to travel, Mr. Carlsen will not be able to join our conversation this time. Dear friends, one of the oldest and most popular mental games in history, chess is an established part of our modern day culture as a unique combination of sport and scientific thinking and of elements of art. The United Nations General Assembly resolution designating World Chess Day recognizes the important opportunities offered by chess in the implementation of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Sustainable Development Goals, including in strengthening education and health, promoting empowerment of women and girls, fostering solidarity, cooperation, and peace through chess as an affordable and inclusive activity. In Armenia, chess has been traditionally regarded as an essential part of our culture. With a long tradition of chess has earned our country with a population of 3 million people title of Olympic and world champion. Chess gained particular popularity in Armenia when the legendary Grandmaster Tigran Petrosyan became the 9th world chess champion back in 1963. Today, Armenia has one of the highest numbers of grand chess masters per capita in the world, having embraced chess as an academic subject also at secondary schools. The lessons offered by chess are indeed important in teaching such important values as respect for rules, respect for players, fairness, equality, and discipline. Chess is essentially about progress and continuous quest for improvement with effort and decency. While chess originated as a game that modeled the battlefield, today we come to think of it as a game that is more closely intertwined with peace. It demonstrates that on the chessboard, skill is the ultimate value and not the origin of the background of the player. Today, human societies all over the world are greatly affected by the disruptive effect of global pandemic. Throughout history, games and sports have helped humanity to survive times of crisis by reducing anxieties and improving mental health. While COVID-19 outbreak has forced most gaming and sports activities to scale down, chess has demonstrated remarkable resilience, adaptability, and a very strong convening power in time of pandemic, helping transcend national boundaries and bridge across barriers of language, culture, gender, age, physical ability, or other status. Today's conversation will reflect on the ways in which these intrinsic values of chess can be put at the service of the humanity. I'm happy to announce that we have the pleasure of being joined by President of International Chess Federation, Mr. Arkady Dvorkovich, and the Secretary General of United Nations for Global Communication, Ms. Melissa Fleming. I'll first ask Mr. Dvorkovich to take the floor. Mr. Dvorkovich, if you could please reflect more on the history and work of Fide, which was established on this very day, 96 years ago. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to represent Fide on this particular occasion of the World Chess Day, or as we call it interchangeably, International Chess Day as well, like Fide as well, both the World Chess Federation and International Chess Federation. And yes, Fide is 96-year-old. We are not young anymore, and we are quite big and strong, uniting 195 national chess federations already. So we are very close to 200 countries already, and I'm sure that by the next celebration, by next July, we can be around this figure already. But more importantly is it is not just a number of countries. We are talking about hundreds of millions of people around the world who enjoy chess, who play chess, and who are united around chess. There are less active players, but the majority of people playing chess as a recreation activity, and that is what is important. And it still brings to people both fun, intellectual challenge. It creates new skills, including very important skills crucial in normal life, like abilities to think logically, to analyze what is happening around you, to take decisions under time pressure and under uncertainty. To take both wins and losses with pride and with the highest possible respect to your partner who is playing against you. When you play in team competitions, you can also enjoy the fight for your flag or for your club, and that gives you an additional skill how to work in the whole team. Of course, the highest value the chess can bring is to kids, and I'm sure that my colleagues, the great world champions, will talk about that. And when we bring chess to schools, it has enormous value added, especially early ages in the primary school. And one of our biggest projects by far, it's very slowly still, but with the help of United Nations, UNESCO, hopefully we will promote it further, school and chess. So bringing chess as a part of school curriculum, as Armenia, for instance, did a few years ago. It's not going to be easy. There are lots of things to be learned from Armenian experience. There are both good stories and the mistakes done. That's normal in any big project, but other countries will be the happy ones to avoid some of the mistakes that have been made and to go through the most efficient path. Of course, the educational chess will create a bigger base of chess players around the world to enjoy professional chess and to attract more viewers to highest ranked professional tournaments like World Championship, where our guests today were the happy participants, at least most of them. And yes, Magnus is not here today, but tomorrow the Cup of Legends will start under Magnus' umbrella where both Vladimir and Visha will participate as chess legends already. So it's going to be a nice opportunity as well. Today, to celebrate the promotion of women in chess, we have the final match of the ladies speed championship online, of course, between Alexander Kostyanyuk, also the world champion, and Dan Olshanin, also the world champion. So some nice personalities are playing chess during these days online. And as the biggest event this year, we will have online chess Olympiad that will start just in a few days with 163 teams participating. I think it's the highest, well, the biggest ever online event in sport, of course. And of course, the pandemic is not a good thing, it's a bad thing, but we were able to explore new options, new opportunities, and to continue enjoy chess online. But next year, hopefully, we'll celebrate our World Chess Day during the real Olympiad, the Moscow Olympiad that we started to organize, and we are moving full speed to this event. So I will be welcoming everyone exactly in 1 year in Moscow to have a huge celebration of chess. Mrs. Undersecretary, thanks a lot for the UN support in our endeavors, and I'm sure that together we can do a lot, both to promote chess, but also to make chess a tool to improve the world, to strengthen peace, to conduct non-discriminatory policies on any possible ground, and to create better societies. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Dvarkovich, very much for your remarks and for the Federation's continued support to the global efforts of raising the public awareness about the benefit of the game of chess. Indeed, chess is probably the most global outreach games. I've heard the other day that there are around 600 to 700 chess players around the world, which is a fascinating number. I now have the pleasure to pass the floor to Ms. Melissa Fleming, the Undersecretary General of the United Nations for Global Communications, to deliver a keynote address. Madam Undersecretary General, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ambassador, Your Excellency, Mr. Muher Mogarion, Permanent Representative of Armenia to the United Nations, and Mr. Arkady Dvorkovich, President of the International Chess Federation. I think both of you, I listened to your words just now very carefully, and I'm going to say different things, but I think I'm going to echo a lot of what you said. I also learned a lot from you, and I'm really inspired to take up chess after what you said. Dear chess champions, grandmasters, players, and fans, and good morning and good afternoon and good evening to all of you, wherever you are in the world. I'm delighted to be with you to mark the first World Chess Day at the United Nations. I wish we were doing this in person, but I think, as you said, this gives us an opportunity to involve and include more people who wouldn't have been able to travel. So today, it's a celebration for an intellectual game that for centuries has managed also to entertain, also to stimulate, and sometimes even to confound millions of us the world over. And as we celebrate, we remind ourselves of the special value that such a game, such as chess, is bringing to so many people during this awful COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdown that many people are enduring. The pandemic represents a global crisis in multiple ways, physically, socially, and economically. And one key issue that we have highlighted, that the Secretary General has highlighted, is that the pandemic and all the restrictions and the anxieties that come with it is having on our mental health, collectively and also individually. So during this time, games and sports that we can still play online or at a suitably safe physical distance have become more important than ever, and they feed our lifelong sense of play, also nurture our passion and enthusiasm. They refresh our minds and our bodies, and they distract us also from troubles and reduce our anxieties. So a great mental health tool. So in fact, though what we have heard is that people have been naturally drawn to the game of chess, that this pandemic has spurred a surge in popularity for chess, with more players coming together online to compete and just to enjoy the simple pleasure of the game. So there is no simple answer to the question of exactly where chess began, but we can safely say it is more than 1,000 years old. And now it is being played on, we believe, every country on earth. And what makes it so appealing is that chess can be played by anyone, anywhere, and regardless of gender, language, age, physical ability, or social status. And this is true inclusion. So when two players take part in a game of chess, they must uphold mutual respect and fairness. And these qualities contribute to fostering tolerance and also understanding among individuals. And these values are so in line with what the United Nations strives for every day. The UN has long acknowledged the power of sports in bringing people together and in advancing our common goals. And indeed, the UN is mainstreaming sports initiatives into its work towards development and peace, and part of our wider efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. And increasingly, people realize that sport can act as an enabler of sustainable development, peace, and also social inclusion. And in this respect, I really hope that chess will continue to cultivate friendly harmony among peoples, that it will help all of our mental health during this pandemic as we try to get through it, and that it will serve as a platform to promote solidarity and a culture of peace. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing the stories and the insights from the world champions who are with us today. And I thank you all very much. Happy World Chess Day.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Madam and the Secretary General, for your remarks and for the important work of the United Nations Department of Global Communication in raising public awareness and understanding of the work of the UN globally, as well as for the support of your department in organizing today's event, which is streamlined on UN Web TV as well as on Fide website. Now it is my distinct honor to give the floor to the legendary chess champion, who I am sure needs no introduction. Mr. Viswanathan Anand is a 5-time world champion who is joining us from India. Mr. Anand, thank you very much for being with us. It is a great honor and privilege to me as permanent representative of Armenia to introduce you today. You represent a country where chess has originated in. Could you please tell us, share with us some of your thoughts on the way that the game resembles real life and decision-making nowadays, and also reflect on the history of chess. What is the most important lessons offered by this fascinating game? Mr. Anand, you have the floor, please.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to join you all. When I was young, I was told that chess originated in India, and this was one of our proud accomplishments. It's something that most Indians mentioned as soon as you talked about chess, that chess had originated in India. There were a couple of streams. One was mythological. I read that from one of our more famous epics, the Ramayana, that the king Ravana had invented the game of chess to teach to his wife Mandodari, so that during his campaigns, his military campaigns, she would have something to occupy herself with. Later on, during the Maurya Empire, there was a treatise called the Arthashastra, which is really a treatise on statecraft by our famous Guru Chanakya. And in some circles, he has been compared to, let's say the first Machiavelli. But it was certainly a very turbulent time in India. It was just the time when a couple of centuries after Alexander the Great had invaded India, and the Maurya Empire, in fact, stretched quite a bit beyond our current borders. So it was a turbulent time. And this treatise, though it's often compared with Machiavelli, I think is fairly realistic. And he assigned a very important role for chess in this. In fact, the original name for chess, Chaturanga, simply refers to the 4 divisions of the army: infantry, cavalry, elephants, and chariots. And so you can see very much that it comes from this historical period. And he taught it to his most famous charge, Chandragupta Maurya, to train him in the art of strategic thinking and to think about warfare. So the association between chess and warfare and strategic thinking and planning has been around. So it was used as a way to teach very important skills. This continued during for many centuries. And in fact, in India, it was referred to as the royal game because many of the kings who came afterwards in a lot of the succeeding empires, including more recently the Mughal Empire and famously Akbar, used to play chess, and it was part of their royal studies to learn how to play chess. It also had deeper roots. For instance, in South India, the ancestral game for chess is often referred to as, well, I know it as Adupuliyatam, which basically means goats versus tigers. And this was a game where 15 goats had to outmaneuver 3 tigers. Clearly, no goat could be left alone because then it would be too vulnerable. But the idea was for there to be too many goats, also ascribing the importance to teamwork when you have some sort of weakness. I have heard this reference in all the South Indian states and in many languages. So it formed a part of Indian culture. When I was growing up, there was still a fair number of people who played the older Indian version of the game, where the queen and bishop are much weaker than the international version. Also, I learned chess from my mother, and her story is quite typical. Chess was a sort of professional sport. There are a lot of families who used to play it with great enthusiasm. And if in fact you mention to anyone that you played chess, quite often the head of the family would go out and pull out his old chess set and make you play a game. So it was part of our culture, even though it had to be rediscovered in a sporting context. From India, it seems to have spread to Persia around about the early 7th century. And from there, it was introduced to Andalusia by the Umayyad dynasty when they were there. A further entry point into Europe was through Italy, Renaissance Italy. And from there, it slowly spread across Europe. So Spain in the 16th century, famously Ruy Lopez de Segura. Then France, again, the most famous player would be Philidor. Later on, Germany and the UK dominated. And finally, we are probably most familiar with the recent domination of the Soviet Union and Russia, and by the way, Armenia, in the 20th. So this is how the game spread globally. Asia had to rediscover it. India had to come back to it, as I mentioned. And I think the Chinese also have strategic games which are similar to chess and perhaps may have had a common ancestral game, but had to come back to the broader version. In fact, when I won the World Championship in the year 2000, it felt like my journey mirrored, and I brought the chess title back to India, so to speak. It felt like my journey mirrored the ancient paths. I was then living in Spain at that time, and the two venues for the knockout tournament were Delhi and Tehran. So, and these were the first three countries where chess seems to have spread. Nowadays, it has become a totally global game. I've mentioned all the countries which played chess. America, as is typical maybe of America, surprised the world twice. Both Morphy and Fischer seem to come out of nowhere, but it's still an impressive record of two champions. And nowadays, thanks to the internet, it has become a truly global sport. I believe that it is never more widely disseminated as it is now. And of course, during the pandemic, I'm very happy that so many people have discovered the game of chess. Perhaps they didn't have the time or they never got around to it. But this has been a very good chance for chess to spread. And I believe that most Indian parents are right that chess will help my child do better in school. So I hope that the current positive trajectory of chess that we've experienced recently will continue in the future without pandemics even. And I'm grateful for a chance to talk about the spread of the game. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Anand, for your very interesting and insightful remarks. And now I have the honor to introduce Ms. Hu Yifan, who is the 13th Women's World Chess Champion and #1 female player in the world ranking. I very much appreciate that you joined today as Ms. Hu, and I know it is late hour in China, and we are of course mindful of the time difference between Beijing and New York. Could you please reflect on the role of chess also from the as a woman champion on its inclusive aspects from the perspective of your extensive and very impressive practice? Ms. Hu, you have the floor, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ambassador, and thank you all. It is really my great honor to join all of you and our chess community chess people here in a very special day. So definitely chess means a lot to me, and not only contribute me as a chess player, but I kind of really learned a lot of different experience through chess, but in different aspects in my life and also in the society I'm living. So therefore, I would like to bring up an interesting aspect that is, in my opinion, how chess may promote peace in some way. So as a universal activity, chess can easily get a lot of people together in a harmonious atmosphere. So regardless of their cultural background or race, therefore it is really hard for me to imagine anything other than sport, especially chess, could bring people together in such a peaceful way. So chess is built on respect, friendship, without any actual conflict or social bias. In the chess world, all you need is to know rules of the game and know how the pieces move to join our big family. Specific social groups or hierarchy are practically non-existent. However, I do not deny that chess could also initiate some conflict, as there is only one winner in each tournament, as well as in every single game. But this conflict is very limited and is miles away from any violence. And also chess can create the feeling of emotions. So we talk about sustainable conflict transformation means that it can transform participants' feelings. So for example, chess can provide creativity, pleasure, happiness, or any other positive feelings. But in the same time, it may also include negative feelings like sadness, regret. For example, like when you made this kind of blunders, mistakes, you really would be very upset about yourself, but these kind of emotions could easily be transformed. So therefore, I thought that chess is a very good method to transfer the human's emotions. And also chess is a sport that can contribute trust among people who have never met one another before. As we keep saying that one's personality lies within one's playing style. So for example, without any initial communication, a game of chess would offer us the first impression of a person. And then through competition, even our friendship would grow, and that would gather us here today. And another experience I have learned from chess is about imperfection. So for example, during a chess game, I used to spend quite some time in complicated positions trying to find the best move on the board. But sometimes I can find, and the other times I can't. Or even when I find it, there would be more mistakes occurred when the game is getting into the time trouble from my side. So sooner or later, I realized that the best practical option is not equal to the best move. And all I need to do is trying to find the most suitable move in a current position and have a very good time management. So once we accept that perfection is non-existent, it will be able to narrow our expectation in many different aspects and help us to understand the position better. So therefore, from my personal opinion, I thought that in case to accept imperfection would lead us to perfection. So this kind of emotional understanding would affect human behavior and enhance safety and stability in society. Therefore, in general, I thought that it is sport that indirectly and unconditionally influence human behavior, which would help us express our emotions, deal with the negative feelings like anxiety, and set up a positive mindset. Finally, as a result, to reduce violent behaviors. And this is just something about my personal experience through chess and what it taught me, apart from its other social role like education, which I believe many of my colleagues would express their own experience later on. But this about peace and stability is something that I would like to share with all of our people here today. And thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Levon, for your very interesting and important remarks and your words about promoting peace and solidarity, about the role of chess in promoting peace and solidarity and also trust among people. It was very important to hear that. Now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce one of the strongest players of the last two decades, my compatriot, Mr. Levon Aronia, who will be speaking from Yerevan. Levon has been leading Armenian players since he was a teenager. He became World Youth Chess Champion for under 12 back in 1994. He is 2 times World Cup winner and 3 times Olympic champion. It's my pleasure now to give the floor to you, Mr. Levon Aronia. You have the floor, please.
Thank you very much. Happy Chess Day. So I would like to talk a little bit about the things that I've learned through chess. I guess we all are here to share our experience. So when I was growing up, it was, the Soviet Union disappeared from the maps, and my country was going through a lot of difficult social and economical challenges. So after the 4th class in the school, I had to quit. So I couldn't attend to school because my school was closed. And I started learning things at home. mostly I liked different things, but chess was something that I was very fascinated with. And then my parents kind of allowed me to pursue the chess career. And so the biggest things that I've learned through chess was to process information, because especially processing big information, because you have to build your repertoire. And generally in life, if you want to be knowledgeable and you want to be a deep person, you need to have those skills to understand how to extract information. And that's what chess players do every day, because we have databases, which at the moment, my database is about 15 million games. So out of this 15 million games, you have to slowly narrow it down to, let's say, 10,000, and then narrow it down more. So you create your database of the things that you want to learn. So especially, it's very important. I think our game is a very good mechanism for the internet, because you have such an ability of information and you cannot really narrow it down. And that's what I've learned to do through chess, by finding my repertoire. Another thing that was very valuable for me, especially when you don't really go to the school, you don't have to go through those hours. So your attention is not trained to it. So by playing a game, which is 3-4 hours, 5 hours, I mean, sometimes you get to play for 7-8 hours, you learn to be concentrated. Because unlike any other activity where you can actually afford to make a mistake at some point, here you basically have to keep your attention and concentration at all times for 7 hours, which is also a very, very useful skill that you get to learn through chess. Another very important thing, because no matter how good you are in a game of chess, you are going to lose games. And the ability to forget the negative emotions is one of the best things that I've learned through chess, because you lose the game, and if you keep on dwelling on it, next game you won't be able to perform. And I guess the same thing is in life. By remembering very negative things, you're going to get scarred, and those scars are going to torture you, and you won't be able to move on and be optimistic. So that is another thing I really appreciate, and I'm grateful to the game that I've learned it from the game of chess. And I guess one last remark I can add that is also something that I value a lot is ability to read through emotion. Because you are playing a game and it's 1 meter distance between two of you, and you're trying to outwit your opponent. But you have to control your emotion and then understand what he's feeling by synchronizing your breathing, by understanding if he's worried or not. And I think generally it's very useful when you're competing and when you're having a dialogue with anybody, but also I think it can enhance your empathy in a way, because you will know how your neighbor feels. So those are the couple of things that I can sit here and mention maybe 100 of things that the game of chess taught me. But those are the things that I would like to people to think about. And I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to talk to you all, guys. And happy Chess Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Aronia, for your very insightful remarks. Chess indeed is often thought of as a game for intellectuals, but more and more studies come to discover the practice of playing chess regularly significantly helps to develop personality and character and foster creative thinking. And chess has also, as you rightly mentioned, stood the test of time because it is one of those rare games that has the ability to have a fundamental impact on preserving mental health as well. So thank you very much for being with us today. It is now my pleasure to give the floor to another chess legend, a celebrated Russian grandmaster, the 14th world champion and one of the most influential chess players of recent decades, Mr. Vladimir Kramnik. Mr. Kramnik, thank you very much for joining us. We understand you remain very much involved with chess and education. What would be your reflection on this important aspect of chess? What, in your view, could be the benefit of incorporating chess in school curriculum, as we have done that in my country, and also as Mr. Dvarkovich reflected in his opening remarks, incorporating chess in school curriculum is one of the aspects of focus of Fide recently as well. So, Mr. Kramnik, you have the floor. If I can ask you to unmute your microphone so we can hear you. Thank you.
Yes, it's an honor for me to take part in this discussion, in this panel. Well, you know, I was born in Soviet Union, which was still on. It was 1975, and I'm very grateful to my father, who was an artist, and he had taught me how to play chess. You know, at that time in Soviet Union, chess was an extremely popular game or sports, call it what you want. I think it was one of the most popular actually activities in general in the time. And my father was just a chess amateur and didn't have actually any, so to say, bad intentions trying to teach me chess. I mean, what I mean that he never thought that I'm going to be a professional chess player. It was a part of culture, you know, it was actually, you know, part of cultural education. Then I liked the game very much from the very beginning and started to be quite successful. And so I am where I am. But I am extremely grateful to chess and to, of course, my father also, that he had introduced me to this wonderful game. I would say that, of course, the results and my career, which I had, I could never dream of this career, but I would have been playing chess anyway, even if I would be just a regular chess player, you know, because I think it's very enjoyable. So one good thing is for kids that actually it is in any case a very nice hobby, very, very pleasant hobby to have during all your life. And since, you know, I was born in the province, and who knows what kind of prospects I would have if I wouldn't have been introduced to chess, you know. So that's why I feel like, what to say, like a moral obligation, you know, to try to give the opportunity to kids, I mean, to introduce to this wonderful game, because we all, you know, we all intuitively feel or understand that chess is pretty useful for the development of mental abilities, of thinking for kids, you know. But nowadays, as it was mentioned already before, there were quite many studies already, scientific studies in different countries in the world, which proven a very clear link between. So the studies were made for the kids, you know, who are starting school. Usually it was, I think, between age of 7 and 9 or 10. And so when the kids were introduced to chess, started to study chess, they were studying, their marks at school were getting considerably better, not just a little bit, but really considerably better. And, you know, it was actually the case in all studies which were made so far. So there is a certain proof also that studying chess, which is intuitively we can all understand, yeah, because simply it is like you make your brain work, yeah, like any muscle after all, yeah. If you go to fitness club, if you run, you're fit, yeah. If you are using your brain permanently by solving certain tasks, whatever they are, can be mathematics, can be how to mate in two. Of course, you are more fit brain-wise. But it's by far not all which chess brings to kids, yeah, because of course you can also you can train your mental abilities, strategical thinking in other areas like mathematics, you know, trying to solve certain mathematical tasks. Although I have to say that for kids, definitely a very important element of play, yeah, I mean, which chess gives them, because I don't think there's so many kids who would be solving mathematical tasks for 3 hours in a row, but playing chess for a few hours in a row, this I've seen a lot in my life. So it's also a very important element, so which makes them enjoy this process. But as some of already chess players, my friends have already mentioned, there are lots of other elements which are, you know, the kids, they are learning. Yeah, one thing definitely, you know, one very important thing which seems to be kind of abstract, but in fact it's very important, is when you play a chess game, actually you are making a lot of decisions. Yeah, every single move is a decision. It's not only a thinking process, but also is a decision. So I believe one of the very important skills it gives to kids is ability to make decisions, you know, in a limited amount of time, in an uncertain situation like our life is. Yeah, I mean, we can never be sure about our decisions, but we have to make decisions. Yeah, and this ability, and also so ability to make decision, to learn how to do it, and every move is a decision, and then there is a very clear result. So in a way, it's like a model of our game, only that you have a very clear result at the end. Let's say you win or you lose a game, so you can so you make many decisions. You can analyze them. You can analyze them after the game. You can understand that you lost the game, so some decisions were wrong. Let's say, and then you try to understand what was wrong, and you try to get better, not to repeat those mistakes. Yeah, so it is a very actually important component of development. I would say it's a more soft skills. I don't know how to call it, maybe more human skills, but a very important one. So besides the pure, let's say, brain, you know, element of brain development. And also what is good about in this game, I mean, you play 1 against 1. The arbiter has a very minor role in this game. So basically it's all yours. That's what makes it makes the game difficult in some way, because if you lose, I mean, it's hard to blame someone. Yeah, I mean, basically maybe once or twice, but at the end of the day, you understand that it's all your fault. But also when you win, it's fully yours. Yes, so actually this ability to, I mean, this gives an opportunity to start understanding things which most of politicians nowadays are still, I think, not aware of, is that if something goes wrong, it's your own mistake. But that is a way to move forward. You know, that is a way to start avoiding making that mistakes. So there are many elements and other things which my friends they have mentioned already is learning how to lose with a honor. You know, how to be a gentleman, how to make decisions, non-perfect decisions, and as Ifan was telling, also very interesting idea. I mean, very recently thought that you know, it's true that playing chess sometimes the best practical decision, the best, so to say, human decision is not necessarily the ideal decision, you know, mathematically. Yes, so lots of things to learn, and I'm trying to develop certain programs. I'm leading the Geneva, where I'm living at this moment. I'm leading a chess in schools in Geneva program. I was actually extremely surprised by the fact that not only the parents, they love it, which is understandable for me. I'm a parent of two kids myself, and of course I like when they do anything which is so to say related to thinking. But actually kids, they love it a lot. I mean, I've been visiting the annual meeting, and we have already, I think, more than 2,000 kids in from the age of 7 and 9, probably the best age to start studying chess, although it's never late, of course. And they actually like it very much, and it's a very nice, I mean, I really like the idea that I can give them this opportunity. And we're working on certain project. For example, I have a certain idea, which is to make online national school championships and even world school championship online, which is very, very easy to realize. I mean, perfectly realizable, which would give opportunities for kids, let's say in Africa, competing with American kids and with Chinese kids. You know, it's extremely nice for them. I think that they would be extremely excited. I've already tried this idea on my both kids, and they liked it a lot. So for me, it's already a good sign. And yes, there are many programs nowadays. I mean, Armenia is the best example, of course, where it's where it's a part of curriculum. But many other countries, like Great Britain, there is a program chess in school. In Hungary, in Russia, it starts. In other countries, and actually they're everywhere very successful. There is a huge demand. So I will try to develop it. I think it's a very prosperous direction. And the last thing I would like to mention, because I'm also working a bit in lately in artificial intelligence, and I can see, I agree with many specialists in this field, that the future we will have, let's say in 20 years, it's quite unpredictable. I mean, the professions which will stay, new professions which will appear, you know, it's very difficult to understand now what kind of knowledge exactly you need to have for future, you know, to be successful. So in this situation, when there is such a serious change, you know, structural change due to new technologies and artificial intelligence, I think it's the most important quality which young man, a child now and a young man after 10, 15 years will have is the ability to think, to combine abstract ideas, to be very flexible, to have a flexible brain, and to know how to deal with different things, you know, with different type of things. So I think that also due to this change, and you know, we might probably would be not a bad idea to adjust a bit the educational system, because those changes, I believe, are inevitable, and many things will be different in 15, 20 years. But in any case, chess is also, it's a kind of one of the best so far, one of the best tools to develop these so-called soft skills. I mean, to develop the right thinking patterns, the right strategical understanding of the situation. And that would be extremely helpful, I believe, for kids, whatever they're going to do. Of course, some of them would become professional chess players. And I can tell you, if you are a good chess player, it's a very nice profession. I would recommend everyone to play chess professionally. You see world, you meet a lot of very interesting, clever people, and it's really very inspiring and nice. But also, even if not professional, I think this time you spend on studying chess in your young years, you know, it will not be lost. So you will, in an abstract way, maybe indirect way, but it will help you a lot, you know, to be successful in your profession, whatever it will be in future. So I'm really trying to promote it, trying to organize certain event, and I would recommend everyone. And as a parent of two kids, I'm also teaching them chess, and I would recommend you to introduce your kids to this game. And yes, and I think that we will have probably more kids will be introduced to chess, more intellectual, and therefore more peaceful and a better society we will have in future. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kramnik. Thank you very much for your very insightful and thought-provoking remarks. And I thank you for your work and for developing programs to promote the game among the youngs and children. It's very important. I now have the pleasure to open the floor for comments and questions, and I'll ask all participants who wish to ask a question to request the floor by identifying themselves in the chat box and pressing the raise hand button. I have now a request for the floor from Mr. Mkhitar Hayratbedian, who is a Member of Parliament and Chair of the Standing Committee on Science, Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, and at the same time, President of Yerevan Chess Federation. Mr. Hayratbedian, please, you have the floor for comments. Good to see you.
Hello, dear participants, chess players, and those who have contributed to the popularization of chess. I'm very much delighted to participate in this significant event. Firstly, I would like to express my gratitude to the United Nations for its huge efforts to spread and develop chess as a sport, art, and science. Talking about chess for me personally is one of the most pleasant, but at the same time, the most difficult thing. I've been obsessed with chess since my childhood as an amateur player, but it played a crucial role for my personal development. Now, in parallel to my political activity, I have been leading the Yerevan Chess Federation for months, and I have real opportunities to make my dreams come true. The first and the most important point of our federation's strategy is to ensure the continuity of high-class chess generation in Armenia. This is a concept that I strongly believe in. I'm sure that the new generation will open a more glorious page in the history of Armenian chess. The 12 sport schools which are under the auspice of the federation are now serving as a forge for about 5,000 young chess players, where they learn chess from the age of 5, develop their skills, participate in international tournaments, training camps, as well as championships conducted in the capital city in Yerevan. By introducing the latest technology and creating a proper chess environment, the Federation is doing, let's say, its utmost to ensure the continuity and growth of our children's chess education. I would also like to highlight the ensuring the participation of our young chess players in international tournaments, which is extremely important. Our second mission is to make chess more popular in our country, but especially in Yerevan. We should be capable of making chess accessible for more and more people. Amateur chess also should not be ignored. Moreover, it must become part of people's daily life. We are actively working on this, particularly on creating extensive media coverage for chess. So this is that I would love to share with all of you shortly, because dear colleagues, since the time is running short, I will limit myself to this. And I'm sure that chess is also a unique combination of qualities: intellect, lifestyle, way of thinking, and of course, loving. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hayrapetian, for your very thoughtful remarks and for also all your efforts in popularizing chess in Yerevan and in Armenia, and for informing us also on the activities of the Yerevan Chess Federation. I now have the pleasure to give the floor to the permanent representative of Lebanon, Ambassador Amal. You have the floor, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ambassador. I'd appreciate giving me the floor. I would like to start by congratulating Armenia for holding this really important event, and happy International Chess Day. It's really sad that we are not at the United Nations headquarters to meet these amazing champions of chess in person. But with this pandemic, we have to accept listening to their insights on this amazing game virtually. Chess, the sport of kings, has for many years been thought of as an elitist game because it's a mental game, it's logical, and it's thought of that is played only in courts. But thanks to Armenia and to other countries, that this game has been popularized and introduced to schools. I think it's really important that many countries follow the example of Armenia and introduce chess to their schools, because it's really important to teach children these mental games and these games that depends on thought and on logic, and to help them in their future work. And as we heard from the champions, how and the others, how chess helps children in school, because they start thinking more logically and methodically, and also from the from Armenia, how it increases empathy. At this time of the pandemic, when people are staying home, games like chess can be so important because it helps people to stay alert and to keep on using their minds. There's one issue I would like to raise. It's the issue of women in chess. I wish there would be more girls in chess. I wish women and girls are encouraged more to be there, because there's this misconception that chess is a game for men because men are smarter than women, and this is not the case. But there are less women playing because women are not encouraged to play the game. For years it was thought of as a male game, but women are making inroads and they are champions now. So really we have to work on introducing girls to chess and encourage them to play and to become champions. There is no agreement on whether we should have only women and girls tournaments or we should just keep it mixed, but it doesn't matter as long as we encourage them to be there. So I just want to wish everybody a happy International Chess Day. I want to thank Armenia for this fresh idea and a fresh day today, different from our daily work, but it's so important and it's so logical to do it at a time when people really need to use sports that helps them mentally, and especially it's an indoor game. Thank you very, very much, and happy International Chess Day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Madam Ambassador, for your important remarks and for question, especially on the involvement of women and girls in chess. I assume that probably Ms. Huifan and also Mr. Dvorkovich would want to reflect on that. At this stage, I will collect a couple of questions and then give the floor back to panelists for their responses. I have now request from Mr. Bashar Kouatli, President of the French Chess Federation, for the floor. Please, sir, you have the floor.
Thank you, Excellency. Thank you, Excellencies. Thank you, Mr. President, Fide President. Thanks to the champions who gave an incredible thoughts, insights of their experiences. And I would like really to thank Armenia very much because it's very important for chess to be there for this International Day. This morning, I was on one of the main radios in France to explain what are the benefits of chess. And thanks to that initiative that brought that. In fact, if we all help each other, we will bring chess to where it should be and where everybody is agreeing about. So I will not make it too long, because what said all the distinguished people and our champions was very essential. I would like just to say to Her Excellency, Ambassador of Lebanon, regarding women, chess is an incredible tool, as Mr. President Dvorkovich said before, to show that there is no superiority of man towards women. Because when a girl beats a boy in chess, then it is a unique message that you don't have to explain through words. So that's what I wanted just to say. And again, to thank really the United Nations and Armenia for this International Day of Chess. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your remarks very much. And before giving the floor back to the panelists, I have also one question here related to the other questions. It is from the President of the General Assembly. The question is, how can UN with association, in association with Fide, take chess to poor countries where there are few players and hardly no knowledge of the game? Any project to highlight in this regard? I will ask now Mr. Dvorkovich if you can first respond to the questions, and then Ms. Levon, and also other panelists who would want to reflect on the questions raised so far, please indicate. Mr. Dvorkovich, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. And I would like to thank everyone for the remarks and questions. I fully support one of the remarks regarding the importance, not just professional, but also amateur chess. We have been trying to support this movement also throughout the recent periods. We have organized, I believe successfully, a truly global chess festival called Checkmate Coronavirus, where all chess players could play different chess platforms, online platforms, and enjoy playing chess under the umbrella of Fide. One important feature of this festival was that it was not winning that was a criteria for prize giving, but just participation. So the more people played, the more chances to win prizes they got. And the highest possible prize was the trip to Moscow Olympiad next year. And we have a few dozens of winners from all around the world, even from some island countries. The reason that we decided to do it by lottery is that there is one thing that chess suffers from still. It is cheating, computer-based cheating, where people use computer hints. We are fighting this disease of chess. It's not easy, but this is the one that we will have to deal with if you want chess to be played online. And there are tools and there are ways how to minimize risks, but we should all act together to minimize those risks. And also this is important for both partners and media. We don't want any scandals related to cheating in chess. So if you want good coverage, if you want good partners, we need to make sure that chess is clean from this computer doping. We do not have real doping in chess, but we have this computer doping that harms the chess events. So that's one of our priorities. Regarding women in chess, we have been trying to do some very practical steps to improve the situation recently. We increased the number of tournaments for women. We increased prize money in those tournaments. We increased the number of women in chess management, in management of Fide in particular. Our treasurer is a lady, which is very important. So she takes care about money, and I believe that's the best way we could support chess is by putting a lady to the treasurer position in Fide. Regarding the possible role of United Nations, we believe that one of the things we can really do is to persuade national governments and national communities, probably through UNESCO, but also it is possible to do through other programs of United Nations, to persuade them to bring chess to schools, to bring chess to kids throughout the world. In most countries, it is done now based on the activities of chess enthusiasts, activities of some volunteers and chess lovers, chess trainers. To do it in a systemic way, we really need a support from the United Nations and its organizations, and we are ready to do it together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dvorkovich, for your response. Now I'll ask Ms. Huyifan to reflect also from the perspective of women champion. Please.
Thank you, Ambassador, and also thank you, Mr. Koich. It just made a very thoughtful shares about chess and also mentioned about women's chess. So I would just like to, first of all, really to thank Fide to promote women's chess a lot in the past few years. Not only Fide has changed the World Championship system for women, but also the conditions, prices, women's events, a lot of activities have been organized in the past few years. And I've heard from many of my friends, chess players, many girls are really happy about the current situation. And we also have a big hope that the women's chess, at least for promotional professional chess, could develop a lot in the future, even going further. And I would like to add a few things about promoting women's chess. And currently, I knew many different countries in Asia, Europe, US, even Africa are organizing the girl-friendly event. I thought that is actually very important for girls to encourage them join chess. But I remember our ambassador from Netherlands also raising a question about whether we should exclude girls only events and only keep the open tournaments, or we should also include some of the girls only events. And from my personal opinion, I thought that there should be a very good combination in both. So on the one hand, it is very important to have more open events that encouraging more girls to participate in and to have the encouragement to compete with strong boys, trying to win prizes in general, but also due to the current statistics and the facts, still the difference, the average difference between girls and boys are still having quite some distance. Therefore, to keep those girls only events would encourage more girls devote themselves into chess, as they can also win prizes, they can have good results, they probably would win the confidence, they realize they can do better. And another aspect I would like to share with all of you is that in case to promote women's chess in general, maybe we should try to decrease or diminish the separation, the difference between boys and girls, not trying to tell little girls that, boys are stronger. If one day you win them, I'll give you some rewards. We should just try to not bring them in and just tell them, you're good like anyone else. So you're all start from the scratch. So just try your best. And the rewards should be decreased. It should be depends on the level of your opponents, but not based on the gender. Yeah, so that's some of my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Miss Huyifan, for your excellent thoughts. And now I would want to ask Mr. Kramnik if there was the question related to how we can promote the game in the countries where there is hardly any knowledge about chess. Any projects to highlight in this regard? Mr. Kramnik, please.
Yes, yeah, you see, there is a very major difference compared to the times when I was starting to play chess, because there is internet nowadays, yeah, and there are lots of online programs. Basically, I remember my time when I had to really search, especially since I was from the provincial town, I had to search for trainers, for books. Actually, I could not really get books, you know. I think I had for like 2 years, maybe only one chess book. I couldn't get any second one for quite some time. So now everything is there available online. So basically, to have an actually very up to a very high level courses. So now you just need to have an internet connection. You don't even anymore need a chess board, which is pretty cheap, but even so, you know, I mean, now you can do it fully digitally online. And I think that Fide, as far as I know, is working quite a lot on those projects, but that makes it much easier. So it's actually a matter of, by the way, all those programs are existing on many different languages. So that is perfectly possible, and I would really appreciate if United Nations would help in some way, at least with the infrastructure, you know, to bring to many different countries, those programs. But in any case, I can tell you one very reassuring thing, that because you've told earlier that there are, while asking Mr. Dvorkovich, that there are some countries where, I mean, there are almost no non-chess players. I think there are very few left. Actually, most of the country, even very far away, but in fact, they're coming to the Olympiad. There are quite a few chess players. It doesn't mean, of course, that we shouldn't be there, but shouldn't try to increase this popularity. But actually, I'm very presently, I'm very happy that chess is basically almost all over the world. But the educational programs, I think we can actually develop, and I'm trying myself to develop also digital educational programs in different languages, and based on the level, on the age. And I have some friends who are doing a very good job in it, and it's all possible nowadays due to modern technologies. We can cover the whole world.
Mr. Ambassador, just to add one thing I forgot.
Please go ahead.
Yes, first of all, I fully agree with Vladimir that internet can make some miracles even for chess, but infrastructure is critical. And what we found now when we have been preparing the online Olympiad is that some countries couldn't register because of the lack of internet. So that one is really critical. And if you will bring internet to distant locations, that would be an enormous step forward for many things, for education in general, but for chess as well. And for medical care as well, since telemedicine is also an important thing, especially during the current pandemic. It helps in diagnostics and in many other things. So by doing this, we can improve life in many respects, actually, including chess. But one thing I believe is important also to teach the teachers. So probably the best way to increase number of people playing is to teach the teachers around the world. We have this project under the umbrella of our Trainers Commission, and then those teachers will help kids in particular locations. So I would propose this one as one of the flagship projects as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your responses, and thank you, Mr. Kramnik, for highlighting the importance of digital technologies as well in promoting chess in those countries that have little exposure to the benefits of the game. Now I'll ask Mr. Aronia if you have any thoughts to share regarding the questions raised, please.
Regarding the popularity or the women's chess? Or?
Yeah, both regarding of popularization of the chess in those areas of the world that have a little knowledge of that, and also on the involvement of women in chess. Please.
Well, I think that chess generally is very accessible, because, for example, when I was growing up, my country was very, very poor, and chess classes were still free. So I didn't have money to get to the chess club, so I would walk every day for about 50 minutes, and I would just get there, but the classes would be free and we would have good coaches. So that was something I was looking forward to. But generally, I think definitely I absolutely agree that with Mr. Djorkovic that the internet is essential in the modern day to provide this ability not just to get lessons, but also to compete and to know your real level. Because sometimes you think that you're very good, and then you play with your colleagues online, and then you see you're not very good, and that's important to know where you're going. But definitely there are many things that we can do together with Fide, and I think most of the players, we're always very excited to see players from countries that don't really have a strong chess culture in them. For example, Norway, that currently has a world champion, didn't really have a strong chess culture before Magnus Carlsen's appearance. So I think there is a lot of potential in Asia, in Africa, for strong players emerging, and that's something that I think UN and generally all the international organizations, including Fide, can do. And we'll obviously support that, and we'll do anything we can in our power. When it comes to ladies chess, just a little notice, I think Miss Hu is absolutely correct. I also believe that women should compete with men, but it has to be done in a slow manner. You can't immediately impose this. So I really like her approach, that you have to push the girls into playing with men, but also keep some of the events girls only. But yeah, I think chess is so unique in that regard that there is no other sport where girls can fully compete with men, and we should work on it and we should promote it. And I truly believe it will benefit not just the world of chess, but also the world generally, because women should feel empowered, and women should get their place in this world.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the very important comments, and also about the women empowerment and equal opportunities to have also in many areas, and most importantly also in this context in chess. Now we have a request from Mr. Nigel Short for the floor, who is Vice President of Fide, another legendary grandmaster. Mr. Nigel Short, you have the floor, please.
Okay, let me get the video. Sorry about that. Okay, can you hear me now?
Please go ahead, loud and clear.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Ambassador. I just wanted to say a couple of things about promoting chess in different countries where, let's say, chess has not been played, it doesn't have strong traditions. I've been very fortunate in my career to have visited quite a number of countries, 129 so far. And I just wanted to say just one little story. For example, last year I was in Grenada, which at that time was not a member of Fide. I went to visit various people that there was no chess activity at all in Grenada. And yet, when I went, they held a meeting at the National Olympic Committee. There were around about 50 people there. The head of the National Olympic Committee was there, and these various chess enthusiasts had gathered. And it was really fascinating in a small country like that to see people talking about the game. There was one person got up and said, well, I'm running this small chess club here. And then somebody else, and then the other side of the room, got up and said the same thing. And then somebody else, a third person, said, well, I'm running a chess club here. So in fact, there were 3 chess clubs in Grenada, and they didn't know about each other's existence. So, okay, this is not exactly, it's more anecdotal than scientific, but I believe there is far more chess activity worldwide than people imagine. And I'm very glad that we're now edging towards 200 member federations, and I share the vision of the President that we will soon be at 200 member federations. If I may, just switching to another topic, the great world champion, Emanuel Lasker, who was world champion for 27 years, something that will never be broken. He said that lies and hypocrisy don't last long on the chessboard. And I think this is actually very important because in this day and age, we are living in a society where lies are spread very, very easily. We see this on the internet. We see it everywhere. And I think improving people's critical faculties is very important. One may be able to bluff in politics, but sometimes, occasionally, you come up with a formidable opponent. And I consider COVID-19 to be a sort of Magnus Carlsen of the virus world. It's a very, very formidable opponent. And it's simply not enough to say, poof, it will be vanished by April. And you get found out if you don't have a proper response. So we've got a very, very dangerous pandemic going on. It's clear that the scientists all over the world now know much, much more than we did 6 months ago. But it is not very glib and unsatisfactory responses to a major worldwide threat like this. And I think my personal view is that chess has a role to play there in educating people. You know, it's not enough to make loud statements. You have to demonstrate the truth. And this is coming back to Emmanuel Lasker's point about lies and hypocrisy. So I think chess can have very many benefits, and critical thinking is one of them.
Well, thank you. Thank you really very, very much. And thank you for highlighting the role of chess in improving people's critical faculty, as you referred to, and also the importance of demonstration of truth and exposing the cynicism in also in real life and other situations. Your comments on that were very important. The distinguished panelists, participants, friends. Now I want to thank all our distinguished panelists for their important contribution to this virtual dialogue held to mark the inaugural observance of the World Chess Day, established by the United Nations General Assembly last year. And I would also want to thank once again the International Chess Federation, Fide, and Mr. Dvarkovic for his participation, and also the United Nations Department of Global Communication for their support in promoting the day, also via their networks. I look forward to our continued cooperation in promoting the benefits of chess globally, and I'm very hopeful that the conditions permitting, we will be getting together here also at the UN premises to mark this international, this World Chess Day. And let me, before concluding, also thank my team at the Permanent Mission of Armenia to the UN for all the hard work in putting together this event and their great efforts in organization. Once again, I very much appreciate your presence. The participation of grandmasters was extraordinary, and I thank all of our grandmasters for their remarks and for their presence today. With this, thank you very much, and hope to see you soon next time. All the best.